Hey everybody, Michael here. Our verses are Matthew chapter 18, verses 1 through 5. I'll read them right now. Here we go. At that time, the disciples came to Jesus, saying, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" And calling to him a child, he, Jesus, put him in the midst of them, and said, "Truly I say to you, unless you turn and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever humbles himself like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Whoever receives one such child in my name receives me. But whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him to have a great millstone fastened around his neck and to be drowned in the depth of the sea." So, this text is about humility. Let's talk through it. The disciples approach Jesus, ask him who's the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. The very fact that they asked this question shows that they had no idea at all what the kingdom of heaven was, and Jesus quickly illuminates them to this. He calls a child over. We're told in the Gospel of Luke chapter 9, which has this same narrative, that Jesus stood the child beside him, tells the disciples they cannot enter the kingdom of heaven unless they become like children. Now, surrounded by grown men, the disciples, the child must have looked quite insignificant, which is, of course, Jesus' point. This text should make us uncomfortable. We think of importance and status and worthiness, glory. We think of these things as power. We think of them as might. We think of them as success and contribution to something. However, Jesus here is saying that in order to be great, the definition of greatness here is not power. It's not might. It's not what we would see as strength, but it's actually what we would see as weakness. The way into the kingdom isn't through being good enough or powerful enough or strong enough or moral enough. The way into the kingdom is through humility. It's through realizing that you can't be good enough. It's through admitting and knowing that you cannot contribute anything, actually, to your entering into the kingdom. Jesus here redefines what greatness is. What do you think greatness is? How do you see it in your life? If you were to say, in this area of my life, I am great, I am good, I am successful, what would it look like? Well, Jesus here redefines greatness as humility, as weakness. The way into the kingdom is what C.S. Lewis might call self-forgetfulness. He writes in Mere Christianity, "True humility is not thinking less of yourself, it is thinking of yourself less." Interesting, isn't it? Now, when I think about humility, when I think about children, in one text, I think about parenting. I'm a parent, I'm a dad, I have 2 daughters, one of which is not born yet. She'll be here any day, hopefully, for my wife's sake, 39 weeks pregnant here. I know what it's like to be a parent to a child, to be around someone who is young enough and inexperienced enough in life to contribute something, really, to society. Children can't work, really. My daughter's 17 months, almost 18 months. She can't really do much. Well, Jesus says that's the way into the kingdom. Now, he goes on to talk about this millstone. What's the millstone about? Well, the millstone was a big rock, a big stone that a donkey or a pony would pull around in a circle in order to grind grain into flour. And this huge, massive millstone was epically heavy. Jesus says, whoever causes little ones who believe in me to sin, it will be better for them to have one of these massive stones fastened, tied around their neck, and be thrown into the sea and drowned. What on earth is he about? What on earth is Jesus onto? This sounds ridiculous. Well, as a parent here, I can easily see these verses and feel very scared and guilty, because I know how much weakness I have. I'm not a good parent. I don't know how to lead my daughter in the ways of the Lord. I don't know how to teach her everything that's right. I'm afraid I'm going to mess up. And unfortunately I will. I'm a flawed human being. I'm under the curse of sin. Well, in one sense at least. I'm affected by the fall, even though I may be saved. So when it says, they deserve to have a millstone tied around their neck for those who might lead a little one into sin, I think, gosh, well, what if I do something wrong and I end up causing Magnolia, my daughter, to go off the path of holiness and sin? That's terrifying. And I would deserve to have a millstone tied around my neck and thrown into the depths of the sea. Jesus here uses the Greek construction, I think is pronounced pelagai, and that literally refers to the deepest parts of the sea. This is serious. This is an ultimate punishment. This is justice. Well, the good news, if you're a parent who struggles with the same things I do, is that Jesus went into the pelagai for us. He plunged into the depths of the sea. He took the millstone around his neck, and he was drowned in the depths of the sea for us. On the cross, he took our sin as parents. We may deserve ultimate justice. We may deserve ultimate punishment for our sin. We can't be perfect parents. We will sin. We will lead our children astray. That's sobering. And I pray that we wouldn't. Pray that God would protect my daughter from my instability, from my weakness, from my pride, that he would make me humble enough to recognize I need Jesus. I need Jesus' sacrifice on the cross, him plunging into the depths of the sea of God's wrath for me, taking the millstone of my sin around his neck. I need that in order to become a new self, in order to become humble, in order to become like a little child, in order to truly enter the kingdom. That's what I need. That's what you need, friend. So turn to him today with me, and let's find humility to become like a little child. And we can say with the old Dutch poets, "O Savior, make me small once more, that downward I may grow, and in this heart of mine restore the faith of long ago. Make me, O Lord, a child again, obedient to thy call, in self possessing nothing, and in thee possessing all." Love you guys. Let's turn to Jesus today, and let's pursue humility by his grace.